all upasanas, even the mundane works which we have to do inevitably, be done in the spirit of Adhyatmic sadhana. Adhyatmic sadhana is pulling our attention from anything other than Paramatma and putting our attention in Paramatma. This is what is our sadhana. Consciously, knowingly, when we keep on doing for days together, years together, that required stability will come. After that, only the experience of what is said in the Shastras start happening to us. So, no more demarcation of these timings are my sadhana, other are not. Every moment throughout the day, from morning till night, even sleep also, is our Adhyatmika sadhana of nearing to the self or the truth. Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharusebhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vishaje Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Shruti Smriti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Vidita Shastra Sudha Jaladhe Mahitopanishad Kathitartha Nidhe Hrudaye Kalaye Vimalam Charanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam. Om Parabrahmane Namaha Shrutimatre Namaha. समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादि गुरुभ्यो नमः. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. समस्त गुरूणां देवतानां परब्रह्मणः श्रुतिमातो कृपया उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव अनुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकसंस्कृतेः विश्वव्याप्त्यर्थं विश्वशान्तिकल्याण एकता प्राप्त्यर्थं साधक भक्त सेवक धर्म संस्थापकानां विघ्न निवारण शत्रु निर्मूलन समस्त शक्तीनां संपदानां साधनानां अवाप्ति द्वारा विजय प्राप्त्यर्थं तैत्तिरीय उपनिषदः पारायणम् अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे. आदौ पारायणम् in Bhruguvalli. We have to do from the Anna Brahma Upasana for our Parayanam. Om Tatrutiya Bhruguvalli Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Anna Brahma Upasanam. Om अन्नं न निन्द्यात् तद्व्रतं प्राणो वा अन्नं शरीरमन्नादं प्राणे शरीरं प्रतिष्ठितं शरीरे प्राणः प्रतिष्ठितः तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतिष्ठते. अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या अन्नं न परिचक्षेत तद्व्रतं आपो वा अन्नं ज्योतिरन्नादम् अप्सु ज्योति प्रतिष्ठितं ज्योतिष्याप प्रतिष्ठिताः तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या अन्नं बहुकुर्वीत तद्व्रतं पृथिवी वा अन्नम् आकाशोन्नादः पृथिव्यामाकाश प्रतिष्ठितः आकाशे पृथिवी प्रतिष्ठिता तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम अथ श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदांतर्गत तैत्तिरीय आरण्यकांतर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ओम यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रणीयते येनेदन्धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत् तद्वक्तारमावीत् आवेन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ अथ द्वितीया ब्रह्मानन्दवल्ली शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अथ प्रथमोऽनुवाकः। ॐ ब्रह्मविदाप्नोति परं तदेशाभ्युक्ता सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्म यो वेदनिहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन् सोऽश्नुते सर्वान् कामान् सः ब्रह्मणा विपश्चितेति तस्माद्वा एतस्मादात्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद्वायुः वायोस्तेजः तेजस आपः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषोऽन्नरसमयः तस्येदमेव शिरः अयं दक्षिणपक्षः अयमुत्तरपक्षः अयमात्मा इदं पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे नमः। वेदव्यासो वैशम्पायनाग्निवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। Having saluted all the Rishi Muni Guru Devatas, invoking their grace to keep us on the path steadily. Just like we need regular dose of bhojanam for sustaining of our deha. In the same way, the Brahman alone is truth or reality. Only in the Brahma Anubhuti, the final liberation comes to us, who are now as a Jiva at the Upadhi level. So, if the Brahma Anubhuti we have to establish in that Brahma Dhyana we have to do, then only we get established. To do the Brahma Dhyana, we have to do Nitya Nirantara Brahma Chintana. And to do the Brahma Chintana, we must always have the information of the Brahman in our mind or intellect. And what makes us reminded of the Brahman as a goal, what makes us reminded of the sadhana to be one with the Brahma Tattva is the Jnanam or the Shastra or the Upanishad. Just like daily food is required for sustaining the health, so too daily dose of Upanishad Shravanam is required to keep ourselves in touch with what is the ultimate goal we have to reach for our moksha. If that continuously being in touch with the Upanishad, through that in touch with the ultimate goal and the inspiration, and trying little by little to reach to that goal. If this thing we miss anything other than this, call it as yajnas, call the upasanas, call all types of so called adhyatmic sadhanas, so many things we may do, but not the thing to be done we do, which gives us moksha. Therefore, at one level, more important than all these japa, tapa, upasanas is the study, swadhyaya, shravana, and dhyana of Upanishads. More so is what? Even the Dehadi Upadhi, whatever is required for it, minimum we conduct remaining the entire time, we have to be dedicating only in trying to study the Upanishads and the subject matter that is exhaustively explained to us by even the Bhashyakara. Then only the information is intact. That information alone keeps on inspired to reach to the ultimate goal as Brahma. And only when we are inspired, the required sadhanas of both the Vyatireka of everything other than Brahman and the Anvaya of the Satyam Jnanam Anantham, one sadhaka can do. That alone takes us to that experience of self and realization. If we miss that for any reason, in fact, not one class per day, but throughout the day, our manana, chintana should be only on those vakyas of Shruti Mata which are revealing to us the Brahma Tattva. Whole day if we cannot do, at least in the mornings, evenings, if we are not reminded, we will be continuously in the same world of delusory created of this Rupa and Nama, and we can never be free from our Jivadi, Dehadi, Tadatmya and Bandhana. It can continue for millions of lives. If at all we have sincerely, seriously done the upasana of the Guru and Bhagwan, the result of that is conviction regarding this. That till I reach Paramatma Anubhuti, which is my ultimate goal, every moment of the entire day I will dedicate exclusively for that. If this conviction comes as a result of which everything else will leave and pursue only the Brahmanubhuti giving sadhana, that means our sankalpas, our desires, our upasanas, our prayers to Bhagavan and Guru are fulfilled. Till that time, go on doing the upasanas with the only sankalpa that mukti giving, Brahmanubhuti giving sadhana alone I must do. Along with these prayers extended, we also consciously to strengthen in us ki let me do more and more study, let me do more and more deeper analysis, let me have the conviction, let me exclusively spend my entire day to wean away from the all that which is not Brahman. Let me be one with that Brahmanubhuti. In that way, we have to pray to the Lord, we have to entertain thoughts in us, we have to make the strong desires, strong sankalpas. All that put together only makes us practically do the sadhana of keeping things away and sit for dhyanam. Only when we keep things away and sit for dhyanam, in the dhyanam also, we will be able to transcend the Annamaya, the Kosha and Upadi, even the Manomaya, even the Vijnanamaya, then only we will be able to see the Lord. When we don't sit for dhyanam, we are in the activity. Activities are done by the upadhis in the world of name and form. When we are acting in the world with the upadhi in name and form, how can we free ourselves from them to meditate and know the self? So, as long as we are living in the world with upadhi without meditation on the truth, so long we are strengthening our delusion that the world is real and I am a jiva. Therefore, we have to make these sankalpas that till the Atma Anubhuti is gained. After the Anubhuti, let me come back and play in this world without getting bound. But now, I'll definitely be bound because not yet the Anubhuti has come. So let me go for that Anubhuti at every cost and price. This way, the one who decides, he alone goes to that Vanaprastha ashrama, gets exhausted of all his inner and outer impurities and compulsions, then takes up that sannyasa, where other than knowing the truth, there is no second goal, second thought. Such person alone will take the study of Upanishad seriously, sincerely, and to them only the Shruti Mata and the Gurus have seriously, sincerely gave these Upanishads. So such person, reading them, rereading them, listening them, contemplating on them, he starts becoming intellectually convinced about the truth reality of the Brahman or the self. Other than him, everything is delusory. Then only you will be ready to focus more and more on the Brahma Swarupa. In the effort of that alone, slowly he becomes so subtle, sublime, because the Brahman is subtle and sublime. He reaches to that Anubhuti. Let us be that. Our idea is what? Minimum we are doing, not maximum, of getting reminded of the Brahma Tattva through the Upanishad Adhyanam of Bhashya. Even if this also is not done, we will never have even millions of lives. The chance of mukti, because if this we are not doing, what we are doing is contrary to this, called as taking the world and as jiva reality and involving in them only. From this minimum of coming to class, instead of making it irregular or leaving it, we have to maximize it by making more and more time given, more and more mind given only to this. Only in that mode we always maintain ourselves, freeing our antakarana from everything else, that the subtlety will come. To be able to exactly understand what Shrutimata, what Bhashyakara is saying. Only when we understand it, the subtleties, then the truth is understood. Oh, this is what is the meaning of this sentence. This is what is the meaning of this mantra. This is what Bhagavan Adi Shankara is trying to convey through this analysis. This is what is the Purva Pakshi's Prashna. This is what is Siddhanti's Uttara. That crystal clear picture will be revealed to us. Only when we become that way subtlety is gained only when we are regular and consistent. The regularity, consistency is not only coming to the class, which is minimum, but throughout the day, nothing other else is taken up, only this. And we have to be ready, if not today, tomorrow, for this type of exclusive application for the truth. Then only we'll be able to realize. I'll not realize self, I don't want Brahman. As a Jiva, I am okay with the Upadhi and they will die or they will trouble me, they become old. It's okay, adjustable to me. But through them, I am having what a nice pleasures of the world. It is so good. I will continue. Continue. Who stops you? It is your life. Not even Shastra, not even Paramatma can compel such person. Then how can a guru or anybody can compel? See? That is how the basic thought is. I must myself develop that Shubhecha, that I want to rise above the life of limitations, enter into the infinite life of being one with the self. That Shubhecha, till it doesn't come from my heart, all my spiritual sadhanas would be under some obligations or the compulsions or some type of sentiments or emotions which are also irregular and insincere. We all are in that stage. From this irregular, insincere to very regular and sincere, nothing other than is done by us throughout the day. To that level, if you have to reach to, that Shubhecha has to come from within. Again, Shastra helps in that by telling us the limitation of the worldly life and the glory of the spiritual emancipation. When we repeatedly listen and contemplate on that, then our Shubhecha becomes stronger and stronger. Without Shubha Icha, any sadhana is enforced by outer things, and that will not be sustenant. We will just give it up. So maybe all that way have the stronger than the strongest Shubha Icha to be one with the Paramatma Anumati. With that Shubha Icha, from morning till night we sleep, from the birth till the death, we will pursue only that till we experience it. This is what is the final qualification of the highly matured sadhaka. He only does the highest sadhana, he only reaches the highest siddhi. May we all be of that category people. O Lord, not only make us continue these morning classes, please bless us to have the ability and serenity, willingness to carry this knowledge throughout the day, to contemplate on that, so that we understand the depths of it and the meaning and purport in it, which will reveal to us not only how glorious is the Brahma Vidya giving us mukti, but how great are the Shastras and Guru Parampara, who out of their love and compassion have brought these Jnanam of Brahman through these Upanishads to us. This is what we have to come to level. And on the contrary, even this morning class of being in touch with Upanishad we miss, will totally be in the world as a jiva with Arthakama Adi, maybe little Dharma and Punya, that also get more and Artha and Kama. So we'll always be jailed only in the Ajnana Janita Upadhi, in the Upadhi Tadatma Jiva, and the Jiva's pursuits of the Mithya Jagat of Rupanama. Do you want to continue? Tathasto. No, 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 we have come up to this level. अगर जितना भी मुश्किल हो अब आगे ही जाएंगे पीछे नहीं. If this is your conviction, our conviction, it is welcome. And those who have chosen the second one, they alone slowly, steadily became more and more qualified, more and more subtle, more and more clear in the understandings and followed by true sadhanas. And then they will alone can go beyond all the stulata, sukshmata, karanata. They reach to that Brahman which is beyond all that. So maybe all that way be only on that path. All the scriptures given to us by Rishi Muni are only for this purpose. If we claim to be the disciples of Puja Gurudev and all, their purpose of giving us all the satsangas is only this one. The Lord, if at all He is pleased with us, is only when we seek from Him the Jnanam and through Jnanam and Moksham, not anything else. And all in all, the fulfillment to you and I will never come when we are still at the level of our identity with the limited perishable. Our fulfillment is guaranteed only when we are identifying with the unlimited imperishable. And all that starts from satsanga continues till the self is realized. This satsanga of the Upanishads cannot be, should not be left out or compromised with. That's our conviction. Now, in this great, grand, glorious Krishna Yajurveda Antargata Taittiriya, the three vallis. In the first valli, we were taught the upasanas, and the phala of the upasana also are told. If the phala apeksha is there, those upasanas get expended in giving us those phala. If the upasanas are done without any of those phala apeksha, these upasanas expectedly make our antakarana so pure, so subtle, so divine. With this antakarana, one is qualified for the vicharana on the Brahma Tattva. Therefore, The second, Brahmananda Valli, is given to those who did not ran away from the ashrama, those who have not wanted to go enter into grahastha ashrama, those who are not going for the phala through the upasana even up to the hiranyagarbha. Other than these three, हिरण्यगर्भ तक का फल पाने वाले को छोड़कर, गृहस्थ आश्रम में जाने वाले को छोड़कर, आश्रम को छोड़कर भागने वाले को छोड़कर, जो उपासनाएं करके अंतःकरण शुद्ध करके ट्रुथ को ही जानना है, ऐसे जो लोग रह जाते हैं उनके लिए ये वाला. Imagine that ashrama guru is teaching. He taught all the bhasha, vyakaranamadi. He taught the upasanas. He also taught them the Vedamanucharya. Then freedom is given. The students, four categories found to be. One said, "Sir, it is too heavy of studying in the ashrama under you. We just live life as we want." Gone. Second type understood, sir, but the main theme of Brahman is not our immediate goal. Immediately we want to enter into Grahastha Ashrama. Guru says, go tatastu, but then for you, Swadhyaya Pravachanacha, Jari Rakho. Then the third side says, let's see later on about Brahman, but right now, though, I have to do all the Samhita Upasana or Vyahriti Upasana or Pangta Upasana for me to go through the Agnivayu Aditya to the Hiranyagarbha sthiti. You also go. Now the fourth group are not going. क्या हुआ रे लोग, तुम नहीं जा रहे? नहीं, we want neither the Hiranyagarbha sthiti nor enter into Grahastha ashrama, nor we are bored or wanting to run away with any of our choices. Our only choice is to learn from you that ultimate, having gained which nothing remains to be gained. Nowhere to go. Is there anything, sir? If that's so, then teach us. If not, you only tell us where to go among these three. In that way, those fourth category are there. Then the Guru is pleased with him. He says, yes, beta, there is a prapti. That prapti is called para prapti. Para in terms of what? One is, there is nothing greater than that. Everything is lesser than that. Second meaning of para prapti is what? Have you reached that there is nothing remains to be known, nor you come back again to the lower level. Like any other prapti, like eating food, is a prapti of the trupti. But after 4 hours, again we are back to hungry. Being with friends, a few hours we spent and enjoyed, but they go away because nobody can be tolerating us so long. Again we are in back to square one, feeling lonely, waiting for someone else. In the same way, lot of wealth is earned. Then if you keep on spending it, it gets ended also. Even if you want to continuously earn, the capacities, opportunities will not be all the time. Even though with all punyam we have earned swargadi, that is also cost wise. When the punya paisa kharch ho gaya, kshine punya marte lokam vishanti. So you understand how we have to think and analyze what is the meaning of the apara prapti through other upasanas or karmas or yajna agadi. But the para prapti is never again diminishing. Never we are thrown back to the earlier level of limitations, conditions, or bondages. That is called a para. There is that state of being. Yes, it is there, Guru says. Sir, how to achieve it? Okay, you want to achieve that? A Brahma Vedta will achieve it. So a seeker who is now becoming the seeker of the Brahma Vidya, through that Brahma Vidya, he will apnoti param. Are you ready for it? Not an easy thing it is. Mhm. Like anywhere, like let us take aeronautical engineering. There's a ground duty work also is there. Airport only, but very gross work some are doing. Somebody can be a technical workers in the aeronauticals. They will only repair the aeroplane, etc. Some are there who even not only GDOs, but they are flying in the aircraft, and as a pilot they are driving. More greater than them are those who are managing the fighter planes, jet planes, which are of more important job and more alertness, they have to be more intricate the things. Even greater than that is becoming an astronaut. Emotionally, the fighter plane pilots are great because they are fighting for the nation and all. But beyond that, if you see, becoming an astronaut to chase and to break through, get through breakthroughs for all the secrets of the world. If somebody travels in those so-called those things, and is the air spacecrafts, etc., they are of the higher category. In the same way, going to the Gurukula just to learn grammar, going to Gurukula just to learn the Vritti Vidya, going to Gurukula to learn some values, going to Gurukula to learn some upasanas of the devatas, with whose blessings little better comforts and happiness comes. Everybody can do it and should do also. But greater than all that is that desire to go beyond all this, which is obvious otherwise to everyone and even for us also so far. That state of param being in which the param means what? That in which all these are not there. One has to forego all this to reach to that. That's a param. It is higher than the highest, it is subtler than the subtlest, it is all pervading, it is infinite, it is blissful, it is such state of being, having reached where there is no ignorance or delusion anymore, there is no coming back to the level of the multitude, there is no coming back to the level of influenced by the time for the change and perishability. That's what called as param. Do you want to go to that? Those who say बहुत मुश्किल सा, so then खाओ पियो सो जाओ आश्रम का कोई काम देखभाल करो. But even if one student says, Sir, yes, I can try along with you if you are there with me all the time. Guru says, Ajao, let us study together. So to them is these mantras of the Brahma Vidya and on them the Bhashyakara's Bhashya. So much is struggling to convey to us the deeper most meaning of these mantras uttered by the Shruti Mata regarding Brahma Vidya. It's a big, big struggle even for the Acharya and Guru trying to convey to us. And the biggest problem is he is conveying it through the words. Those words have a different meaning for him when he is telling us. Exactly that meaning if we don't have for the words. And for the words we have our own meaning. Then we'll understand what we feel like, not what he is meaning. Like that, so many problems arise when the knowledge is communicated through the Shabda. But if the disciple is sincere and faithful to the Guru and his teachings and the Shastra, these barricades or these obstructions can be conquered easily. Then he'll be able to go subtly, deeply, dwell or delve or deeply enter into what exactly Guru is trying to tell through these shabdas, through the vakyas. Maybe all be of that highest category of students who are able to pierce through the obvious meanings into the sublime internal purposes or the meanings with which the Shruti Mata and Bhashya is in front of us. Now Brahmavidapnoti param sadeshabhyukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma. We started talking on that and every of this sentence that is spoken by Bhashyakara to explain the word satyam, to explain the word jnanam anantam is million times to be repeated till every aspect of that is thoroughly understood. And that understanding we have to apply on the seat of dhyanam. So, in that regard, we to some extent succeeded in understanding Satyam. That Satyam is what? Yad Rupena, Yad Nishchitam, Tad Navyavicharat, Tad Satyam. Yad Rupena, Yad Nishchitam, Tad Vyavicharat, Tad Anrutam Asatyam. So, from the definition of the word Satyam and Anrutam, with the help of the definition of the word, the Brahman he is trying to explain, which is other than everything of the world. Everything of the world is Anrutam because it is Vikari. Because Yadrupena Nishchitam Tad navya vicharat, you don't see in anything in the world, tad vyavicharat only. Is it not? The Surya Bhagavan is red in color. Tad rupena nishchitam, but it is vyavicharat. As in the afternoon, he becomes whitish in the color. Again, you say the Surya is white in color, but it is vyavicharat because in the evening again is red. You understand? So, first sentence we understood. What is that? Satyam Brahma iti Brahma vikarat nivartayati. This is the crux. What Bhagavan does throughout his commentaries on all Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, he takes up topic, step by step he develops and explains. Toward the end, he summarizes. He tells this is what is the conclusion we have to arrive at. Though here the conclusion is what? Yadrupena yad nishchitam tad satyam tad na vyavcharat satyam. Therefore, everything which is changing is vikari. Everything vikari is anrutam. Every anrutam is asatyam. Satyam is Brahma. Therefore, asatyam is Brahma, of which we have no interest. Our interest is Brahma because Brahma Vidya, Veta only becomes or achieves the Param. Our goal is Param. The means is Brahma Vidya. Brahman is Satyam. Everything other than Brahman is Asatyam. Satyam is na vyavicharatu. Asatyam is vyavicharatu vikari. Therefore, everything which has got vikara is Anrutam, Asatyam, Abrahma, Aparam. We are not interested in that. So, Satyam Brahma iti Brahma Vikarat Nivartayati is the conclusion of Bhagavan Shankara or arrival of conclusion of the analysis of Satyam Brahma. What we have to understand from it consequently is what? Therefore, if you want to reach to Brahman, which is so much mixed up with the Brahma, how we have to separate it is we have to go on rejecting which is Anrutam, which is modifiable, which is Vikari. Every day we have to do little. When you keep on doing, slowly the moment you sit, transcend all the Vikari, we enter into the Avikari Vastu. That avikari, that yadrupen and nishchitam, that Brahma we experience as our own selves. Always remember, Satyam Jnanam Anantham Brahma has to be discovered as our own self. Then only the journey is concluded, then only the purpose is fulfilled, then only we have to say that we are on the right track. It will come slowly as the subject is further developed, and even we also, every time when we talk on these topics, the deeper meaning indicated by the Rishi or Shruti Mata and Bhashyakara, we will be able to apprehend repeatedly when we study. Now, we have to definitely continue in trying to understand the subsequent paras. When Brahman is said to be the Satyam, therefore unmodifiable, then he became the Karaka now through being a Karana. So too, for the Jada Jagata is a Karana. Because Jagat is Karya which is Jada. Karana also same it should be. Therefore, Kartrutvam and Jadata of the Brahman comes if the Brahman is taken as Satya only. Therefore, Brahman is not only Satya in terms of Avikaritva, but he is not a Karana of the entire world, nor he is like a Jada which you see in the world. Remember, what's happening here? Obvious thing for us is the world and us. The goal is to know the Brahman who is already there. So, one side we have to talk about the Swarupa Lakshana of the Brahma in the light of which everything other than these Lakshanas should be known as a Brahma other than the Brahma, that has to be rejected. All this rejection is happening only in the knowledge because whatever we see is also is a projection happening only in our thoughts because of the ignorance of the Brahman. ब्रह्म ज्ञान के अभाव में मन में प्रोजेक्टेड ही ये पूरा जगत है. तो फिर मन ही में ही ब्रह्म ज्ञान के द्वारा ये प्रोजेक्टेड मल्टीप्लिसिटी का रिजेक्शन करना है. In that ultimate rejection, it is so obvious for us to experience everything is Brahman alone. See, total world is real. There is no Brahman at all. At this level of engrossed worldliness we are in, non-thinking about the reality and substratum. When the exercise of again and again contemplation on Brahman is done, Brahman alone becomes obvious, very corner somewhere in that Brahman, this world of multiplities is projected for a simple purpose of vyavahara. उसका उससे ज़्यादा मायना नहीं. Like we are on the earth. For us, earth alone is complete. There is nothing other in it. But going to the space from thousands and thousands, lakhs of kilometers, space is so big in that this earth, which we thought infinite and everything, is like a speck only. In the same way, in the avichara sthiti, whole world of Rupanama is so real, there is no Brahman. On the highest contemplative level, Brahman alone is real. Somewhere a corner, a little this world of multiplicity is there for entertainment, multiplicity. Like everywhere, waves on the ocean. Go a little below the waves of the surface of the ocean, waves, you see water. After seeing water, everywhere is water, water alone. Some place on the surface, some waves. When you see all the pots, oh, everywhere pots. But when you look at the matti, everywhere there is matti. A part of it is made into pots, appearing as pots, not even made. So too, Brahman alone is all pervading reality. At one level, these upadhis of Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat playing, that's it. उसका कोई importance ही नहीं. ये स्थिति में हमको पहुंचना है. अब उल्टा है. I am as Jiva, I am as Deha is so important. As a Dehi, as a Jiva, only I am conducting throughout the day. This is called the height of utter ignorance, delusion, and therefore sufferings. From here, we have to reach to that level. Okay. Now, the Jnanam Brahma is taken for discussion very, very elaborately. So the Jnanam Brahma, Satyam Brahma is said. Satyam Brahma, we have to reverse and understand Brahma Satyam. You can add one more word, Brahma Eva Satyam. You can add one more sentence, Brahma Eva Satyam. Everything other than Brahman is Asatyam Anrutam. What I am experiencing, it is Mithya. Okay? Because you are saying you are experiencing, it is Mithya. But actually it is Asatyam. Because Brahman alone is Satyam. Satyam is Brahma, Brahman alone is Satyam. But right now, there is nothing called Brahman. World alone is Satyam. This is when you use only the Indriyadi Upadhi, not the Sukshma Vichara of the intellect with the help of the Vedanta Vakyas. When you use the Vedanta Vakya as an authority, from that standpoint, when you contemplate, Satyam is Brahman alone. Brahman alone is Satyam. Other thing, how much ever reality is appearing through Upadhis in the form of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Gandha, ये सब नहीं. Just like on the TV screen. You know, there are colors on the TV screen. There are the sounds. There are the forms. Don't you see everything? The sky is there. The rivers are there. How real they look like. अब जाके टच करो स्क्रीन को. These examples are so important to loosen in our heart the reality given to the world, even though you are experiencing it, which is very, very crucial and which takes lot of time. And I believe personally, it is only by Ishvara Guru Kripa that clicks to us, just like movie and the dream. The world, though appears is real, yet not so. So to the world of perceptions which I am going through are experienced but not real. When that loosening happens, the Visharana about the strong hold we have the world that it is real, that we'll be able to really contemplate on the real reality. Pots are so real as if nothing called mud is there. Mud alone is real, then where are pots? Our problem is this only for millions of lives. We are identifying the Dehadi Upadhi, Indriyadi Upadhi, and we are seeing the world through them as Shabda Sparsho because this habit it appears to be real. We took it for granted that this is real, be attentive. This alone is real, there is nothing beyond. This condition is the most dangerous one. To break through all that is very tough job. होता है, but when we take help of Shruti and Guru Maharaj and Ishvara, उनकी कृपा से एक दिन आएगा जहाँ हम बिलीव करना शुरू करेंगे that which I am seeing as so obvious and real is not so obvious or real. The real is something beyond. Hmm. Now, Jnanam Brahma is second word used for Brahma. Now, the point which Jnanam? Because all of us are Mahajnani. Simple discussion is in all our Jnana, be attentive. The Jnata, Jnana, Jneya, Triputi is there. Because of the Triputi is there, they are limiting each other. Because they are limiting each other, they are not infinite. Because they are infinite, they are endful. And also they are depending on each other. Then, just like this type of jnanam, how much ever we have, still we are not infinite or liberated or paraprapta. If the Brahma jnana also or jnana Brahma also is like that, that jnanam of Brahman, like any jnanam of the world, has never liberated, never took us to the paraprapti, this also will not take us. Therefore, we have to use the same word as we use for in the world for Brahman called as Jnanam. But when we say the Jnanam Brahma, when we say the Jnanam of the Jagat, they are not same. In the Jagatika Jnanam, the Jnanam is through the thoughts. In the Brahma Jnanam, that is pure Jnapti Matra, where there is no thought involvement. So too, in the Jnanam of the Jagat, there is Triputi, Jnata, Jnana, Jnayam. In the Brahma Jnanam, it is a pure homogeneous Jnapti Matra. There are no Triputis. That Jnanam is Brahma. That is what is being questioned or discussed or being explained here. Jnanam, Jnaptihi, Avabodha. Then the word used for it is what? Ki, Bhava sadhana. Bhava sadhana word is more important in all that. Bhava sadhana means the abstractness, not crystallized or concretized into anything. So the Jnana Brahma is Jnapti Matra Brahma. In that Jnapti Brahma, as we have now the medium of the thoughts to know the objects of the world, that is not there. This first we have to understand through these three words. Jnapti Matra, Avabodha Matra, Bhava Sadhana Matra. And to continue or explain it exclusively other than the other jnana we have, the explanation started is what? This is Jnapti Matra Jnanam, Brahman is not, he is a Jnana Kartru. Therefore, what is the meaning of Jnana Kartru? Here, Brahman is not that Jnanam or Jnana Karta, where he is doing the Jnana Karma. Jnana Karma means becoming a knower and doing knowing. Doing the action of knowing by becoming the knower. In that, what happens? When he has to do the action of the doing, knowing, immediately you have become an actor. So you have missed yourself being the Satyam or Anrutam or Avikari because you became Vikari. So too, when you have become the knower, you have to know something other than you. Then the knower known difference comes, each limits the other. Then the Anantatva goes away. Therefore, we are talking about pure that Jnapti Matram, in which the Jnana Kartrutva is not there. Okay? Mm. 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 So, this discussion is done. Then, to explain this, the Chandogya quotation was what? Ki, second sentence was said here, Yatra na anyad vijanati, Yatra na anyad vijanati saha bhuma, atha yatra anyad vijanati tadalpam. On this, the Purvapakshi got a question point. He asked a question which is very crucial. Answer also equally crucial. Let us focus on this and the next thought today for next few minutes. What he says is what? He anyat na vijanati. Okay, the Brahman who is Jnapti Swarupa definitely is not knowing something else, but he may be knowing himself. Therefore, Jnana Kartrutva is there. Whenever Jnana Kartrutva is there, Avikaritva goes away. Satyatva goes away. Then the first Lakshana Brahma called Satyam Brahma is rejected. Then we are going against the Shruti Mata. For us, there is no other authority than the Shruti Mata to know or reach Brahman. Clear? Shruti Mata said Satyam Brahma, Jnanam Brahma, Anantam Brahma. Therefore, Brahma has to be Satyam, Brahma has to be Jnanam, Brahma has to be Anantam. This is what is the discussion. The discussion itself will take us to, first of all, sublime understanding of that Brahma. Second is, the moment the Brahman, as in this understanding, is focused upon, we come to know that it is our own self. It is such a deep process of inquiry that in the inquiry only when the understanding comes, that understanding itself cuts asunder the cobwebs of misunderstandings. At the final understanding level, all the three happen. Satyam Jnanam Brahma Anantam is understood. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is understood. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is experienced as the self. That's the beauty of this inquiry. So, the answer was given what? कि the भूमा लक्षण बताने के लिए ये सेंटेंस बताया. In that यत्र न अन्यत् पश्यति न विजानाति सह भूमा यत्र अन्यत् पश्यति विजानाति तदल्पम. So don't miss the reference to context. That particular portion in that Upanishad was spoken to say that in the Bhuma there is no Dvaita. It is Ekameva Advayam. To prove that Ekameva Advayam, the sentence is said that for the Bhuma there is nothing other to know. So there is nothing other to know is the sentence. Only to say there is nothing other existing means it is one without second. The nothing other to know doesn't mean that it knows itself. अपने आप में एक ज्ञान कर्तृत्व है, इस बात को बताने के लिए वो सेंटेंस नहीं आया, which this पूर्व पक्षी is misinterpreting because he is interested in the jnana kartrutva. If the jnana kartrutva is there in the jnanam definition of the Brahma, because the kartrutva, the anantata, satyata has gone away. When the satyata is gone away, the Brahman gone away. So he wants to disprove the presence of Brahman. And when the Brahman is disproved, naturally the whole world is real. When the world is real, our jiva bhava, our desires, our pursuit of the world, all can continue. There is no sadhana, there is no moksha. This is where only somehow adjust karo idhar hi. जो मिल रहा है उसे खुश हो जाओ, जो चाहिए उसको करते रहो. Don't talk about the param and the Brahma Vidya gives us param, therefore pursue the Brahma Vidya. All that is zerofied. But the Bhashyakara will not leave, no? He will to explain to the brim or optimum or the highest level. And we can invoke the Bhashyakara's blessings through Upasana. And if his grace comes, our intellects also become so subtle to understand the Purvapakshi's question and its limitation and to understand the answer given by the Siddhanti, how it clarifies those doubts. So what is the whole point here? The Jnanam Brahma. The Jnanam word has to be understood, like Satyam is understood. The main sentence is what? The Siddhanti says, here the Jnanam is Jnapti Matram. Here the Jnanam is Avbodha Matram. Here Jnanam is Bhava Sadhana Matram, not Jnana Kartru. What is the Jnana Kartrutva? Where the pure, as we said, conscious self is dichotomized into Jnata, Jnanam, Jnayan, Triputi. Okay. Now remember, we are discussing about the Antakarana and in that the three vrittis of Jnata, Jnanam, Jnayam. And this is called as worldly knowledge. In the Brahma Jnanam, this Triputi is not there. Minus the Triputi, the pure consciousness is called as Jnapti. That is what is meant by Jnanam Shabdam of the Brahma. Catch it. While discussing all that, neither the Deha nor the world of names and forms are taken into account at all. As I told you the other day, if at this Antakarana level we sort out the thing, whole the world is sorted out because This seeker at this level of inquiry is no more in giving reality to the world. He understood the world is in the mind. वर्ल्ड इज इन सेंसेस, सेंसेस आर इन द माइंड. ये हमको 1 साल ये अभ्यास करना है, तभी जाकर द रियलिटी गिवन टू द वर्ल्ड इज reduced. Then only we contemplate in the mind regarding the jnanam which is vritti earned, and the jnanam which is free from the vritti. That is called Brahman. त्रिपुटी रहित, वृत्ति रहित, डिपेंडेंसी रहित, केवल शुद्ध ज्ञप्ति मात्र इज ब्रह्म. Unqualified consciousness. Qualified consciousness is thought. The thought gives the knowledge of the world. In Brahman, neither thought is required nor qualification is required. It is pure Gnapti Matra. And all this is contemplation is going on. In the contemplation only, the thoughtful knowledge is transcended. Then the thought-free, non-objective, subjective consciousness is realized. That is, I am Brahman, who is pure Jnana or Gnapti Swarupa. In the ignorance of myself as the Gnapti Swarupa, suddenly in me only, the stuff called as Antakarana came, and that stuff has got divided into Jnata and Gnayam, and they started contacting. The contact is called as Jnanam. All the three are Vritti. Jnata is Vritti, Gnayam is Vritti, Jnanam also Vritti. And this only, the entire world, how much ever gross reality is appearing. Just like in the dream, how much ever the solid the world is, it's a thought only. Just like on the movie, how much ever you see it real, it was a thought of the director and producer, it was a thought of the actors who have acted, and it is a thought also when you are watching it. Nothing substantial reality there in it. कोई ऐसे सॉलिड थिंग है क्या सपने में वाले वस्तु, या कोई टीवी स्क्रीन में दिख रहा है? नो. Remember there, in the dream, for the dreamer, the dream world is so real that he was contacting it with his dream body and dream senses. But remember that body and senses also belong to dream. In the movie on a theater, the hero is holding on to an instrument with his the movie projected hands only. As much the instruments are unreal there, or the things, the hands with which he was holding them, that also is unreal projected only. In the same way, in the waking world also, as the world which we take it as real is unreal, so to the instruments with which we are contacting them, they also are unreal. The reality is only Brahman, Satyam Brahma, the Jnanam Brahma. So his point that Jnanam in the self is being rejected in the discussion. What was said yesterday? Ki, wonderful discussion it was. One point was what? Explained to remove the anyatha and to establish the bhuma to be one without second. That sentence na anyat vijanati is said. The purpose of na anyat vijanati is not that swayam janati as you are interpreting. Therefore, you have missed the reference to context. Change yourself. One explanation given by the Guru to the Siddhant Purapakshi when he says, the Brahma may not know other thing, but it knows itself. Because in that sentence, Anyat na vijanati said, but na vijanati to pata hi nahi. Anyat ko nahi vijanati, swam ko vijanati. He may be knowing himself. First answer is, the reference to that context is wrong. Don't misunderstand that. द भूमा का लक्षण बताने वाला सेंटेंस अपने आप को जानता है ये बताने के लिए नहीं आया. इट इज योर मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग. यू आर मिस कोटिंग इट सेइंग अन्यत न विजानाति, देयरफॉर स्वम विजानाति. बट उपनिषद सेड दैट मंत्र ऑफ अन्यत न विजानाति टू रिजेक्ट द अन्यत्व, टू रिजेक्ट द द्वैत. अद्वैत स्थापना के लिए वो श्रुति ने वो बात बोला, तुम उसको स्वम जानाति के लिए कन्वर्ट करते हुए ज्ञातृत्व को you are trying to bring in it. It is not so. So reference to context is one fallacy in you, that is answered. Second one is swatmani bheda abhavat. Okay, swatmani cha bheda abhavat vijnana anupapattihi. Be careful about this. In the pure self, how can there be the bheda? Are there any two selves that one self knows the other? In the real inner self, not the upadhis like देहेंद्र मन बुद्धि आदि which you take as self. उसमें अन्यता है, भेद है, पर आत्मा में दो आत्मे नहीं होते. Then दो नहीं है तो how can there be the difference of the knower and known? Therefore ज्ञान कर्तृत्व is not possible. ज्ञान कर्तृत्व पॉसिबल है जब दो चीजें हैं, उसमें एक ज्ञाता बनेगा, सेकंड बिकम ज्ञेय. जब स्व आत्मनि भेद अभावात्, there are no two things in yourself. Therefore, know or known cannot be there. Therefore, jnana kartrutvam is not there in the pure self. Second answer is given. Third is what? Atmanacha vigneyatve. Okay, for the sake of acceptance, we accept you. That the self has become the known. ज्ञेयत्व हो गया उसका. अगर सेल्फ क्या हो गया? ज्ञेय हो गया. अब कौन जान रहा है? Because a thing is said to be known only when there is a knower corresponding. For everything known, the self is the knower. Now you made the self also as known because you say self is known. If self has become known, then who is knowing it? Who is the knower? So ज्ञात्रा का अप्रसंग हो जाएगा उधर. ज्ञात्र भाव प्रसंग अप्रसंग, ज्ञात्र अभाव प्रसंग. हाँ, there is no ज्ञाता anymore remaining क्योंकि जो था वो ज्ञेय बन गया. See the subtlety of the inquiry here. And you may say that there is another jnata, and then again the same rule follows that the self has to be put in jnayam. Again, who is the jnata? Abhi regression infinitum ho jayega. Even if you make him a ज्ञेय वस्तु, then there is no ज्ञाता. मतलब उसको जानने वाला ही नहीं. जब कोई चीज को जानने वाला होता नहीं ना, उसका अस्तित्व का मीनिंग ही नहीं होता. You understand? That's how it is rejected, this thought. Now, Purvapakshi doesn't stop. He says, Eka, here onward we have discussed, Eka eva Atma, one self alone, Jnayatvena, Jnatrutvena cha, Ubhayata bhavati iti chet. The Atma alone can be Jnaya and Jnata. See, what is the whole discussion? Jnanam Brahma. What is the main sentence being by Siddhanti? Kevala Jnapti Swarupa. Kevala Bhava Sadhana. Avabodha Jnapti alone is called as Jnanam. That is the definition fits for Brahma as a Jnanam. So, what we have to write from the beginning, we have to go on keeping in mind is, though the Brahman is used as Satyam word, it is not that Satyam is a word explaining Brahma, qualifying Brahma. No, Satyam alone is Brahma, Brahman alone is Satyam. So too when we are saying Jnanam Brahma, it is not the Brahma का एक वृत्ति रूप में ज्ञान है या एक वस्तु है जिसका ज्ञान है. No, Brahman is Jnanam itself. Pure Jnapti, only Brahman. Pure consciousness. In that pure consciousness, the Triputi may come and go. That arrival of Triputi creates the world. We are not talking about the Triputi wala jnanam, vritti wala. Pure jnapti we are talking. And this jnapti is eternally is there in you and me. That awareness, consciousness. Is it not? Was it not there in the sleep? Yeah, therefore only we were conscious that we had a good sleep. Was it not there in the dream? It is there. Was it not there? Is it not there in the waking world? It is. In waking world, which is filled with thousands of experiences of Triputi every moment. In which of these Triputi, this awareness or conscious is not there, Batao? In every Triputi it is there. And in every Triputi, set of Triputis, in each of the three things, the consciousness is there. Okay, like I am seeing a table. So I am the seer of the table. The whole table is seen vastu, and the seeing karma is going on, and the knowledge is happening of the table. Clear? Now, in this particular one set of triputi of seer, seen, seeing, is the consciousness there or not? It is there because I am conscious of the seer me. I am the conscious of the seen, the table, and also I am conscious of the knowledge that it is table. See? Therefore, the seer, seen, and the seeing or the conditions superimposed on the pure consciousness with which the world is perceived. Therefore, what is the world? On pure consciousness, projection of seer, seen, and seeing. That never touches the consciousness. Like in Yoga Darshanam, we saw कि the vritti utthana sthiti mein, it those vrittis never contaminate or they touch the Atma Vastu, but there becomes a sarupyata, that's all. In the same way, there is consciousness like the water in which the waves like the triputis are coming and going without differentiating, without changing the water. How many number of garments come? It doesn't change the gold, isn't it? How many number of waves come? It doesn't change water. How many number of triputis come and go? It doesn't affect the conscious self. Conscious self is reality. It is always same. That conscious self is called as Satyam, Jnanam. That Jnanam is Brahma. So the Brahma Jnanam is not like object knowledge. Subject object difference is not there. Limiting each other is not there. Discontinuity is not there. Thoughts are not there. In this way, we get the knowledge of the things other than Brahma, called as Jagat. Brahma is Jnanam is not this way. ब्रह्म का ज्ञान नहीं होता. ज्ञान में ब्रह्म एक वस्तु नहीं है. ज्ञान ही ब्रह्म है. शुद्ध ज्ञप्ति स्वरूप ज्ञान. ब्रह्म ही ज्ञान है. Other than Brahma, everything is jadam. Here, Jnapti Jnanam is Chaitanyam, consciousness. So, he says in this question, in one Atma only, Jnata and Jneya both are there. If we say like that, कि एकः एव आत्मा ज्ञेयत्वेन ज्ञातृत्वेन च उभयता भवति इति चेत् सिद्धांत सेज नो. वाई? युगपत एक बार ही ज्ञाता ज्ञेय के रूप में वन सेल्फ कैन नॉट बी डिवाइडेड. वाई? अनंशत्वात्. Be attentive. The jnana aspect, the jnapti aspect, the chiti aspect, the chaitanya aspect, the consciousness aspect, which is called as Brahman, that is such a subtler thing that in that any type of division like Amsha and Amshi cannot be seen. अंशत्व नहीं है उसमें. अंश है तो एक हिस्से को अंश को यू कैन से ज्ञेय, अनदर हिस्सा यू कैन से ज्ञान, ज्ञाता. अब ज्ञाता ज्ञेय करने के लिए अंश अंशी होना चाहिए. इट इज सच ए पूर्ण थिंग, सच ए अत्यंत सूक्ष्म थिंग, सच एन होमोजेनियस वन विदाउट थिंग. सेकंड थिंग कि यू कैन नॉट मेक इट इज अंश इन इट. अब अंशता नहीं होने के कारण ज्ञाता ज्ञेय के रूप में इट कैन नॉट बी डिवाइडेड. No, these are all very contemplative, huh? Not as easy as we are trying to explain our talk. अंशत्व नहीं होने के कारण simultaneously one self only cannot be the knower self, known self. ज्ञेय आत्मा एंड ज्ञाता आत्मा के रूप में आत्मा एक ही दो के रूप में नहीं हो सकता एक ही बार, बिकॉज इन दैट द अंशत्व इज नॉट देयर. न युगपद अनंशत्वात्. नो द एक्सप्लेनेशन. न ही निरवयवस्य युगपद ज्ञेय ज्ञातृत्व उपपत्ति. दैट विच कैन नेवर बी मेड एज अवयव. In that Jnatrutva and Jneyatva, two things simultaneously cannot be. Therefore, this consciousness is not the Jnana Kartru. मतलब क्या कह रहे हैं वो? ये शुद्ध चैतन्य ही दो में होकर एक हिस्सा ज्ञाता बना, दूसरे का एक ज्ञेय बनाकर ज्ञान पा रहा है उसका. Our सिद्धांत is saying that ऐसा वाला नहीं है ब्रह्म का, because there are limitations. What are the limitations? So, the moment in the Jnanam, as we have already seen 10 times, so the division comes of Jnata and Jneya. One is what? The division duality came, then each limits the other. When each limits the other, how can it be Param? How can it be ultimate? क्या ना ज्ञेय ज्ञाता को ज्ञेय को लिमिट करते हैं. We are not talking about the limited. We want the unlimited, unconditional, infinite. When you bring the Dvaita of the Jnata and Niyama, you have broken it already. You have modified it. You are modifying Satyata gone. And you limited each other, Anantata gone. That is the topic next discussed. Okay. So, when the Jnanam Shuddham is not taken as Jnapti Matra, unqualified, abstract, pure consciousness, if you take it like the Jnanam of the anything of the world, then the Jnata Jnaya difference will limit the other two Lakshanas of Brahma called as Satyam and Anantam. We don't want the Jnanam of Brahman, which is Asatyam and Santam, because Brahman is qualified with all the three words. All three have to be satisfied. Like when a person is to be found with three qualities, लंबा है, मोटा है और गोरा है. अब लंबा है करके एक लंबे व्यक्ति को, मोटा करके एक मोटू को, एक गोरा, तीनों को लाकर देखो 3 लक्षण का मैंने 3 बंधुओं को ले आया. You can't do that. All the three qualify one fellow. That only you have to bring. In the same way, the problem to the Satyam and Anantam should not come when you are understanding Nepti. So, to the problem to Satyam and Jnanam should not happen when you explain the Brahman as Anantam. So, to when you explain the Brahman as Satyam, it should be Nityarupa and Ananta also. It should not be opposing the other two. तीनों मिलकर ही ब्रह्म है. तीन वाला ब्रह्म ही हमको चाहिए. ओके. सो नहीं निरवयवस्य युगपद ज्ञेय ज्ञातृत्व उपपत्ति ही. The pure conscious self being avayava rahita, in that you cannot have the division of the Jnaya and Jnana, Jnata, that you bring Jnana Kartrutva to the Jnata there. You cannot bring the action of knowing in the self by dividing it into the knower and knower. Avayava nahi hai. It's very sukshma. The sthula vastus you can break, you can make them as shape and you call it as this or that. The pure consciousness, you cannot do like that. Okay. Now the next two arguments are very interesting. Very good it is. Very fine, very funny, very nice. What he says ki Atmanah cha ghatadivat vigneyatve jnana upadesha anarthakyam. Atmanah ghatadivat vigneyatve jnana upadesha anarthakyam. So what the Guru and Shruti Mata are doing, there is a Jnana Upadesh there. Which kiska Jnana Upadesha? They are giving the Jnana Upadesha of Brahma or Atma. Now if this Jnana Upadesha of the Brahma and Atma is like the Jnana Upadesha of a pot, this Upadesha of the Atma is useless. How is it so? Like, two reasons are said here. One is what? Anybody who knows the pot, did he get realization? पॉट को जानते ही मोक्ष हो गएगा किसी को? नहीं हो रहा है. Therefore, like a pot, even the Atma becomes Jnaya Vastu. There is Nirarthakata of the Upadesha. Here the Jnana Upadesha of Atma is given for moksha. If the Atma is a Jnaya Vastu like the pot, knowing of the pot never liberated anyone. Therefore, knowing of the self also will not liberate anyone. Second one is what? The Upadesha Nirarthakata. If this is a pot, do you need to tell anyone? It is so obvious, no? ये गड़ा है करके किसी को बोलने की जरूरत क्या? It's a common thing, everybody knows. And what is the use of telling that which is known to everyone? See that subtlety there. If it is known like a pot, pot knowledge never gave liberation. Therefore, the Atma Jnana also will never give liberation. We are studying the Vedanta Upanishad for the moksha. Pot Jnana never gave moksha to anyone. And everybody knows pot. In that way, if you know the self, so knowledge of self will never be giving liberation. And that self should be known to everyone. Everybody knows that self, but that is Upadis. But Upadi Jnanam never gave moksha to anyone. That is how Nirupadika Shuddha Jnapti only we have to talk. To tell that only the Upanishad came, which is not known to everyone and it is not so obvious, and whose knowledge will give moksha. Or finally, what? You have studied Brahma Vidya, Upanishad, and final conclusion is what? The self is like a pot. Arre? Because pot is known, self is known. It is not like the pot that the self is known as a Gnaya Vastu. It is neither Gnaya Vastu, nor is a Jnata, nor is a Jnanam happening. There is neither a Vrittis, there are no dependency. It is Shuddha Jnapti, pure consciousness, divide of all that. Now, this much insistence we have to do to see, understand that the pure Jnanam is Jnapti Swarupa, and to catch to that Jnapti Swarupa in ourselves, the Triputi we have to reject. The Triputi Jnata Jnana Gnayam is superimposed on that. Therefore, unless I desuperimpose Dhamma, I cannot reach to the pure Jnapti, which is the definition of Brahman called as a Jnanam. These are all being told to us to make us Vairagi toward the Triputi. Then only Triputi Raita, Shuddha Jnapti Swarupa, Avoda Swarupa, Jnanam we achieve. That is called as Jnanam Brahma. Now see, who can do all these exercise? The one who is identified the objects of the world with the Dehadi and a slave to them. Do you think this knowledge is acceptable, receivable, understandable by that fellow? The one in this way who has rejected the worldly things, even the Indriyadi Upadhi, the one who is in the contemplative seat, in the Buddhi level, the one who is there, Vijnana Kosha, he alone can do this research. But once one does this research and reaches to Satyam Jnana Anantham Brahma, he is mukta from everything which is other than Brahma. And everything other than Brahma is only unreal, projected in the ignorance of Brahman as it is. The word Brahma Jnana or Brahma Vidya removes avidya. What is avidya? Everything other than Brahman. What is snake? Everything other than the rope. Where from it came? From the ignorance of rope. So when you have the rope knowledge, as it is there a snake? Is there the tail of snake? Is there the fangs of the snake? Is there the movement of snake and its hood and it is biting and the poison and pain? सारे चले गए. In the ignorance of the rope. See how many multiplied things are projected. Snake from that type and this tail, this type of hood, this movement, this type of fangs, it is poisonous. ये सब किधर आए? In the ignorance of rope. Once the rope is apprehended, all of them gone in one go. So to the Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, Karana, Sukshma, Sthula, Vyashti, Samashti, and in that Panchamahabhut, every one of them are only in the ignorance of Brahma. And we are talked about the process of creation in our Bhagavad Adi. Never ever the creation is spoken to prove that there is creation. This creation is described in all our Shastras to take us to the Paramatma, the reality. And because you are seeing and you have to be guided from where you are, therefore the creation is for the timing accepted. Then the question is raised, is the creation cause or effect? We say natural it is effect. Then let us search the cause. In the pursuit of cause, when you reach out, that is such an unmodifiable self that it never becomes cause, then it is not a cause. Where is the effect from it? Creation is not spoken to prove creation exists. Creation is described in our Shastra only to take us to the reality of the Brahman. We are now in the delusory creation, therefore we have to be lifted from it. For the time being, Shruti Mata as if accepts creation. But later on, na nirodho na chotpatti, na baddho na chalaka. So here also, in the pure Jnapti is Brahman. In the Jnapti Sarupa Brahma, there is no Triputi of Jnata, Gnayam and Jnanam. And whole world is in the Triputi only. That is why even in ignorance of deep sleep, because of the Antakarna is not there, because the Vrittis are not there, because of Jnata Gnayam is not there, therefore there is no Stula Jagat of Jagrat, there is no Sukshma Jagat of Swapna in that. But I continue to be there. Conscious I am continuing there. Bliss also is there, but I'm ignorant of it. I am not aware that I am blissful self. That is only problem in Nidra. And it is bija avastha mein aur bhi vasanas hai. Therefore, you can't be in Nidra permanently. Therefore, you have to kick it out of the Nidra to Jagra Swapna. In the pure Vedantic Jnanam, which again is experienced only when the entire vasanas go away, Shuddha Gnapti Swarupa I am. So the Gnapti is Ananda Swarupa. I am that. Therefore, the Nidra is there. But the vasanas are not there. This is not there. It's not a Nidra sthiti. So too, it's Nidra like but not Nidra. All the bijas of ignorance gone away. Therefore, there is no Jagra Swapna. So Jagra Swapna Sushupti Rahita Shuddha Satya Swarupa Gnakti Swarupa is Brahman. And remember, that Brahman is me. So ikkada apnoti is prapnoti. Prapnoti means darshanam. Darshana apekshatvad prapti apraptyo brahmanaha. So all these exercise should finally lead to this experience that I am the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I am not a jiva of with the upadhis. So tough it is, huh? But if it is known that I am the Brahman in whom so many millions of creations of multiplicity projected and rejected, you are Param. The wave discovering that it is the water in whom millions of waves are projected and dissolving. See that state of that wave when it knows it is the water in which millions of waves are projected, and it is true. Wave cannot be without water. What is the substance of wave? The wave's waveness is its own ignorance of its own essential self. And therefore it is suffering the consequence of ignorance in the form of limitation as a wave, and there are other waves which are dashing me, which are consuming me, which are eating me. This is said here. Now, next thing is what? आत्मना च घटादिवत् विज्ञेयत्वे ज्ञानोपदेश अनर्थक्यम विसाइट नहीं घटादिवत् प्रसिद्धस्य ज्ञानोपदेश अर्थवान. Again, this also we said the ghatadi which are so obvious to everyone, no need to come and tell somebody भाई ये कुर्सी है, ये टेबल है, पॉट है, सबको पता है. ये बताने बेवकूफी होता है. So that which is prasiddha, very well understood by all, very well easily known by all, there is the anarthakata of teaching that to people. The Atma Vastu being so sublime and subtler, for that only the Upadesha is required. To give that Upadesha only the Upanishad came. Upanishad has not come to teach about that which is obvious, like the pot. It's very sublime. So then, sorry, nahi ghatadivat prasiddhasya jnanopadesha arthavan. Then another one, tasmat jnatrutve sati anantya anupapattihi. Sanmatram cha anupapannam jnanakartruttvadi visheshavatve sati. Sanmatratvam cha satyatvam tat satyam sa atma iti shrutyantarat. तस्मात् सत्य अनंत शब्दाभ्याम सह विशेषणवत्वेन ज्ञान शब्दस्य प्रयोगात् भाव साधनः ज्ञान शब्दः. Therefore ज्ञानं ब्रह्म इति कर्तृत्वादि कारक निवृत्त्यर्थं मृदादिवत् अचिद्रुपता निवृत्त्यर्थं च प्रयुज्यते. This little more we have to discuss on it and conclude the Jnanam Brahma. But just like when we said Satyam Brahma, the Kartrutva, Jadatva problems came. To remove those problems, the Brahman is said as Jnanam. When the Jnatrutva or the Jnanam Brahma is accepted, another problem comes of the limitation, Antatva. Because in the worldly knowledge also, Jnanam is limited, depending on Jnata and Gneyam. Like when I see the chair is a Gneya and I am Jnata. I am Jnata of the chair only. When my attention shifts to a fan, Vastu is Gneya, is a chair fan. I am the Jnata of the fan here, not the chair. So the Jnata changed. Changing means limitation, Santam. Therefore, to remove that Antavatvam, which will be born if the self is taken as Jnanam, the third word is used, that Anantam cha. And how that Anantam is a beautiful discussion. We are going to see it. Please remember, we are talking about the Brahman, which is pure existence, which is pure consciousness, which is all pervading, one without second. First of all, intellectually, we are trying to understand the presence of it, existence of it, we do. Thereafter, in our pursuit of knowing it, you just discover that that is already my being. Then I am that Satyam, ever existent. I am that Jnanam, ever conscious. I am that Anantham, which is eternal, undivided, unlimited. That state of being is Brahmanubhuti, that is called Paraprapti. And that Vastu is there, Brahma Vidya. And that alone is real. Other than that, everything is unreal. कुछ भी करो, water alone is here. Other than water is nothing in the waves. अब वेव का आप रूप देखकर नाम लगाकर उसको दूसरे वेव से सेपरेट करके उसको इफेक्ट बनाकर वाटर को कॉज बनाकर, these are all the misuse of the freedom given of mind and speech. The licentiousness of us, we misuse to talk the pure water as the wave. That water is the cause, wave is the effect. Then the wave is born, wave is changing, wave is modifying. Then there are so many other waves. Then each wave is competing with other. ये सारा बेवकूफ़ी है. जो कुछ भी करो पानी ही है उधर. You have to be very subtle in trying to catch this point. Whatever we spoke so far, all of that are of the water only, is it not? Because about whatever you spoke, the substratum of all of them is water only. Remove water from all of them and talk now. Like you can't talk about the big pot, small pot, heavy pot, or the flower pot, or the lamps. How much you are talking? ये सब बकवास है. ये सब मुंह में है बातें. Actually, what is there is mud only. If you don't agree, give me my mud back and you talk about your things which we are talking so far. Dekho, if you can understand such examples, na, then we go to the next level of our maturity. है ना? ये छोटा गमला है 50 का है, बड़ा है 100 का है, और भी बड़ा है कि 200 का है. क्लियर? और ये मटका है, और ये वाला ऐसा लॉन्ग वाला है या मोटा वाला. You are using how much are you do vyavahara in that, but the reality is mud only, is it not? Take out the mud. Those things doesn't exist only. In the same way, you talk as Ishvara. It is only through Upadhi. Jiva through the Upadhi. Jagat through the Upadhi. Talked about whom? About the Brahman only. That Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Remove that Sachidananda or Satyam Jnanandam Brahma. If you remove Satyam, thing became Asatyam. अब बाकी बात की जरूरत ही नहीं है उधर. Remove the Jnanam, it is Jadam. Jadam is Vikari and Nashwaram. And third is remove Anantam, it is Santam. So one Satyam Jnanam Anantam may so many Asatyam, Ajnanam and Santam are projected and imagined that they are Satyam Jnanam Anantam. One eternal water, so many temporary dying waves are projected, and we think the waves are eternal in such a way that the eternal water is not remembered only. This is how it is. Then some more discussions are there, very very subtle. कोशिश करेंगे हम पकड़ने का, जितना होगा उतना होगा. थैंक यू. ओम 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 पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. परमऋषिभ्यो नमः. परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्रुतिमात्रे नमः. तत्सद्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. Simple thing is what? Satyam Brahma. There is a state of being which is non-modifying. Avikari. That is Brahma. And that Satya Brahma is Anubhuta, experienced as the Atma only. So to Jnanam Brahma. There is a pure Gnapti of Abodha. That is Brahma and that is me. In that pure Gnapti, The Jnata Jnana Gnayam, unreal things are superimposed. We are lost in it so much that not only we are taking the Gnatru Jnana Gneya Jagat as real, but when we come to Upanishad study of Brahma Vidya, Brahman also we are trying to divide into Gnatru Jnana and Gneya. The habitual error which we do in the world, which is required for the transaction of the differentiation of Gnata, Gnanam, Gnayam, same thing we are trying to bring when we are trying to study the Jnanam Brahma. These are all Purvapakshi's points. Siddhanta is proving this pure Gnapti alone is there. That is me. Reach to that stage. But we are in the projected thoughts and we have given value importance to the contents in the thoughts in the form of raga and dvesha, and we gave it so reality to it. This is what delusion. So we have given reality to the pot. We started talking the pot is very good. Then we start pot is very loving and liking. Therefore we buy the pot. What we are buying is mud only. But our vyavahara, our upadhitadatmyas, our desires and all, our habits, etc., all of them sustain the world as real. Consequence of which is the reality is as if hidden, as if not at all there. Mm. May the Lord Shruti Mata bless all of us to become so pure, so single pointed, so subtle, to first of all intellectually understand all that, then the seat of meditation, just to discover the Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma is in ourselves, there is nothing other than it. If anything is there, that is Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahman alone, through the upadhi of the avidya, is seen as this Jagat. Bhagavan Parabrahma with his upadhi of Maya is seen appearing as the multiples of the world. You and I with the upadhi of our own avidya, taking this projected world as real, forgetting Brahman. It's a very heavy dosed sentences. We'll come to know them. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti. Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. This is how Vedanta Vichara